In this video, we head to Grimbergen in Belgium, where we check out the amazing work done by Coach Niels Vandeput. An immersion member and BDT offense coach, Niels has experienced great success implementing a conceptual offense with his team. Let's take a look at their core principles of play inspired by the BDT offense. And as you can see, it all starts with transition. Playing with extreme pace and generating easy high-value scores has been something the BC Grimburgen team have really embraced. We wanted to highlight the great work being done here, as many coaches believe that installing the principles of conceptual offense require lots of practice time or really skilled players. This simply isn't true. You can see here Niels has done a great job implementing these principles with limited practice time and a real mix of players of different ages and different abilities. The team's passing ability really stood out to me, and I know Niels has spent a lot of time using small-sided games which have developed these different functional solutions to emerge. What you'll see is that no pass is ever the same, and the players are very comfortable using one-handed passes and passes outside their body. Something else which stands out is the importance of spending time in practice on things which are the most important in games and which actually emerge consistently. Many coaches spend time drilling specific techniques, whether that's spending time teaching floaters, specific finishing moves, detailed post-ups, whereas in reality, how many times do those techniques occur in a game? What you can see in all these clips is that the most important skills, such as passing in transition, finishing at the rim, running triggers, these skills are something that all these players have demonstrated a good proficiency for. By spending time on the most important things in practice, you can get results like the ones you're seeing in front of you, as opposed to wasting time drilling techniques and putting your players through drills. Are you looking for a way to develop modern basketball players playing without set plays and instead teaching players how to play instead of what to play? This offense is for coaches working at all levels of the game. As opposed to running patterns, players learn how to play. But I give you everything I have on how to teach it using a constraints-based approach to coaching. Every coach dreams of having a developed team where everyone can contribute. Again, by using a conceptual offense framework, everyone can develop as they get the chance to make decisions and have the ball in their hands. It's such a great feeling to see so many different players passing and scoring in this video, as opposed to seeing those teams who are reliant on one or two players. Youth basketball should be about this style of play where everyone gets a chance to contribute and develop a love of the game. Now let's get to dominoes. The name, of course, for this coming from Ross McMains. Dominoes is how we convert an advantage. Grimburgen show excellent dominoes habits to convert advantages and get high-value shots. The goal of transition is obviously to finish and end dominoes possessions, and if the team do not have dominoes when they arrive, they will immediately get to a trigger to start dominoes sequences. In all these clips, you can see the willingness of the team to go from good to great, making extra passes and beautiful drive and kick sequences to end the possession with good shots. Spacing does not have to be made complex. The Grimburgen players do a great job preventing one defender from guarding two. This concept alone is huge, as it allows the offense to move anywhere they want with a huge spectrum, as long as it prevents the one defender from disrupting the flow of the offense and the dominoes to keep falling. By using this as a loose framework, it leaves lots of room for flexibility while maintaining great spacing habits. One of the most efficient ways to end the dominoes is through cuts, particularly ghost cuts. Here let's have a look as the trigger initiates dominoes, followed by a great ghost cut to end the possession of a high value score. Many of these ghost cuts are extremely high point per possession shots because of the fact they are completely unopposed in great scoring locations right in the restricted area. The same rule of dominoes in terms of getting into space and out to space applies. This means if a player ghost cuts and they cannot get the ball, they should immediately get back out to space to provide room for the driver to keep driving or to open up a cutting possibility for another teammate. Let's look at the triggers that Grimbergen use. A key part of the BDT offense is understanding the right amount of triggers to use for your team. Too much can simply be overwhelming for your players. This is a great example of the game's first possession, with the team using a get with a keep it coverage solution to get a great shot. You can see a really good array of different solutions out of a get. The team uses creatively, whether that's using keeps, pitches and slips, pitches and three-point shots, pitch and drives, twists. Everything is on display here. This really is the essence of repetition route repetition. They run the triggers in different locations as a result of playing Battleship frequently in practice, and every get is never the same. This is a great example of using the conceptual offense and flowing from trigger to trigger. You don't need advanced motions and complex patterns. One trigger executed well can be enough to start dominoes and get a great shot for your team. The ability to re-trigger is very important with a conceptual offense, and Grimbergen flow into re-triggers effortlessly. If dominoes is not created on the first trigger, then another player has to present themselves and be available to re-trigger. Grimbergen do an excellent job of this by recognizing and anticipating neutral and having another player within a second or two coming and making themselves available for the get. Dribble handoffs are another trigger that Grimbergen use. These are very similar to gets, with a few extra reads. With the dribble app, Grimbergen emphasized getting north-south so that an advantage can more easily be generated. From these dribble handoffs, we look to pitch the ball as opposed to actually handing it off with two hands. This makes the action much quicker than a traditional two-hand handoff. Task constraints affect the solutions that are used out of each trigger, and players are free to make their own decisions. These, of course, will vary based on things like the defensive coverage, where they are on the court, the skill set of the teammates they're playing with, skill set of individuals, etc. The team do a great job here mixing in different coverage solutions. Now let's get to pick and roll. Coach Niels uses picks out of transition to create advantages. Whether that's step-ups from the corner or drags from the middle, simply rolling or slipping quick to get behind the defense works against many coverages, whether that's drop, switch, etc. The team relies on three triggers primarily, with gets, dribble, handoffs, and pick and roll. But this is more than enough, as you can see in these clips, to consistently generate advantages. The team do not need anything more because they are so proficient at getting to dominoes from these three triggers. This is a great example of knowing your team and putting just the amount of information in that they can handle. Anything more can be overwhelming, especially for youth teams with limited practice times. Great job to the Grimbergen players and the coaching staff led by Niels Vandeput. This should be an inspiration for youth coaches as to what you can do with your team with the right practices.